Umagyanatamarandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chaksurmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasakti Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're going through the 9th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, and this evening we're on chapter number 21, which is entitled The Dynasty of Bharat. So Bharat, of course, was the son of Maharaj Dushmanta and Shakuntala. And we heard about his incredible powers, how he performed many horse Ashwamedha yagyas, and then he also saved the wives and daughters of the demigods from the demons and brought them back to their home. And he did a lot of charity. He gave huge amount. He gave charity like 14 lakh elephants, all covered in gold. So incredible charity. He was a really magnanimous person. So he was this. Bharat Maharaj ruled the world for a long time, many thousands of years, right? And then he had a son. Well, the son was given to him, of course, by the Maruts. Somehow he had difficulty to get a son from his wives. We heard 3 of the wives, they killed their own sons, because they thought the sons did not look like the husband, and they were afraid the husband would reject the wives as for being unfaithful, so they killed their own child. So Bharat Maharaj had great difficulties to get a child, and finally the Maruts gave him this one child named Bharadwaja. Alright, so the chapter begins, because Bharadwaja was delivered by the Maruts, the demigods, he was known as Vitata. The son of Vitata was Manu, and from Manu came 5 sons. Of these 5, the one known as Nara had a son named Sankriti. And then chapter goes on, text number 2. Sankriti had 2 sons named Guna and Rantidev. Rantidev is famous in both this world and the next, for he is glorified not only in human society, but also in the society of the demigods. So a very great personality, Maharaj Rantidev, of course. Well-known story about Maharaj Rantidev, how he was very magnanimous. So we're going to hear described about the activities of Rantidev. Text 3 to 5, describing Rantidev, that he never endeavored to earn anything. Very unusual quality. We know in the material world, people are usually quite ambitious to earn something. Somehow they want to earn either reputation or earn money, earn some kind of respect. But Rantidev would never try to earn anything. And he would enjoy whatever he got by the arrangement of providence. But when guests came, he would give them everything. So he underwent considerable suffering along with the members of his family. Indeed, he and his family members shivered for want of food and water. Yet Rantidev always remained sober. Once, after fasting for 48 days, in the morning, Rantidev received some water and some foodstuffs made with milk and ghee. But when he and his family were about to eat, a Brahmana guest arrived. So, of course, when you get a Brahmana guest coming to your home, you know you're expected to really offer everything for them. Actually, they say that everything which we have, it's actually the property of the Brahmanas. They are the proprietors, they are the representatives of the Supreme Lord. And so Brahmana guest, even an uninvited guest, that we should honor them and we should offer everything for them. And pious people will do that even today. I've had the experience myself, sometimes going to people that I remember one time I was in Africa and we went to visit, we went to another town. I was in Kenya and we went to another town just to meet people preaching, and there was a small temple. So we thought we'll go and see the temple. So we went to the temple, and when we went to the temple, the Brahmana of the temple, he was about to take his food along with his family. And I came there with another young man, and the Brahmana man immediately, he had us sit down and eat the meal which had been prepared for him. And he had us take the food which his wife which they had prepared for themselves. He gave the food to me and this other devotee. It was such an act of piety and charity. I was overwhelmed by his hospitality and generous nature. So that was some years ago in Africa. He was an Indian man. So anyway, here Rantidev, he was of that similar nature. And he would fast, and not only he, but his whole family, they would all go without food and water for the sake of feeding the guests. So when a Brahmana guest comes, then it's especially a big thing that you really want to please them. So, chapter goes on, text number 6. Because Rantidev perceived the presence of the Supreme Lord everywhere and in every living entity, so he received the guest with faith and respect and gave him a share of the food. And the Brahmana guest ate his share and then went away. So note the special quality of Rantidev, that he saw the Lord in everyone, everywhere. So he received the guests, understanding that they're not different from the Lord himself, because they carry the Lord in their heart. And Prabhupada has a nice purport here. We can go through it. It's important points. That Rantidev perceived the presence of the Lord in every being, but he never thought that because the Lord is present everywhere, that every living being must be God. Nor did he distinguish between one living being and another. He perceived the presence of the Lord in both the Brahmana and in the Chandala. Chandala means very low-class person. Dog eater, like that. So this is the true vision of equality. And Prabhupada quotes the Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, Paramatma vision, seeing the Lord in everyone's heart, the elephant, the cow, the dog, and the dog eater, as well as the learned and gentle Brahmana. You see them all equally. That's a pandit. So although it has now become more, Prabhupada talks about this Daridra Narayan concept. We don't come across that very often nowadays, but in the past it was there, that people spoke about God, that He's there in the heart of the poor person. But God is never poor. We should understand that. And Prabhupada points out the mistake in the logic. He said, by their logic, if the Lord is present within the heart of the dogs and the hogs, then the dogs and the hogs are also Narayan. So we should not mistakenly think that Rantidev is agreeing with this. Rather, he saw everyone as part of the Supreme Lord. It is not that everyone is the Supreme Lord. Such a theory is propounded by Mayavadi philosophy is misleading, and Rantidev would never have accepted it. All right, so the Brahmana takes his food and goes, and then after he was gone, Rantidev is about to eat his own share when a Sudra guest arrived. And seeing the Sudra in relationship with the Supreme Lord, King Rantidev gave the Sudra also a share of the food. Rantidev sees everyone equally. He saw everyone as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. He never distinguished between the Brahmana and the Sudra. He didn't distinguish between the poor and the rich. So that kind of equal vision, that is called Samadarshana. We have to understand the Lord is in everyone's heart, within every living entity's heart. And we should not make a distinction between the Brahmana and the Sudra. A person sees all living entities equally and treats them equally without discrimination. So the Sudra was given food. And when the Sudra went away, another guest arrived, this time surrounded by dogs, and said, "O king, I and my company of dogs are very hungry. Please give us something to eat." You can imagine somebody coming with dogs. But with great respect, King Rantidev offered the balance of the food to the dogs and the master of the dogs who had come as guests. The king offered them all respects and obeisances. You could just imagine the condition of Rantidev's family. They're waiting to break their fast, and then these different guests are coming, and one after another, their father is giving away all the food to them. So then text number 10 describes, thereafter only the drinking water remained, and there was only enough to satisfy one person. But when the king was just about to drink it, a Chandala appeared and said, "O king, although I am low-born, kindly give me some drinking water." So Rantidev is aggrieved at hearing the pitiable words of the poor, fatigued Chandala. Maharaj Rantidev spoke the following nectarian words. Prabhupada explains, Rantidev's words are like amrita or nectar, because aside from rendering bodily service, by his words alone, the king could save the life of anyone who might hear him. Oh, such a compassionate soul Rantidev is. So, of course, the words of Rantidev are very famous. His prayer, his mood, which he has in receiving the Chandala and giving everything he has had, he says, I do not pray to the Supreme Lord for the 8 perfections of mystic yoga, nor for salvation from repeated birth and death. I want only to stay among all the living entities and suffer all distresses on their behalf, so that they may be freed from suffering. Nakamayeham gatim ishwarat param astadrida yuktam puner bhavam va artim prapadye kiladeha bhajam antasito yena bhavanti adukha. So this is Maharaj Rantidev's prayer, and Prabhupada said Vasudev Dutt made a similar statement to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? Vasudev Datta was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. It said Lord Chaitanya said he was actually not different from Prahlad Maharaj. Vasudev Datta's mood was, he was requesting Lord Chaitanya to liberate all the living entities. He said, let them all be delivered, all living entities in the universe, and I will stay here and suffer the sins for them. Let them all go back to Godhead. And when Lord Chaitanya heard this statement, Lord Chaitanya, tears came in his eyes. He was so pleased. He thought, how wonderful the mood of Vasudev Datta was. So Vasudev Datta told Lord Chaitanya that if they were not qualified to be liberated, he would take all their sinful reactions and suffer personally, so then the Lord might deliver them. Because he thought, if I take away all their sins, then they'll be pure, so they can go back to Godhead. So this is the thinking of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava means para dukkha dukhi. He is very unhappy to hear about the sufferings of others. So a Vaishnava will engage in activities for the welfare of other people. He won't think about himself. He's very sorry to hear about the suffering of others. Materialistic people, they take pleasure in seeing other people suffer. But people like Rantidev and Vasudev Datta, they try to do everything they can to help other people from suffering, to save them from suffering. Rantidev said, I want only to stay among the living entities and suffer all distresses on their behalf, so that they may be freed from suffering. That is the real compassion of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava should develop that kind of mood, that kind of compassion for people, to save them from suffering. Maharaj Rantideva continues, he said, by offering my water to maintain the life of this poor Chandala who is struggling to live, I have been freed from all hunger, thirst, fatigue, trembling of the body, moroseness, distress, lamentation, and illusion. Oh, beautiful. Maharaj Rantideva said, because I have given this water for the life of the Chandala, he said, I am free. I'm freed from all hunger and thirst and fatigue. It gives him so much pleasure to give his water for the suffering Chandala. So this is the wonderful qualities of a devotee like King Rantidev. Then the chapter continues. The King Rantidev, although on the verge of death because of thirst, gave his own portion of water to the Chandala without hesitation, for the king was naturally very kind and sober. Wow. See, on the portion, he's on the verge of death, but without hesitation, he gave that water. So that is real kindness. Demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, who can satisfy all materially ambitious men by giving them the rewards they desire, then manifested their own identities before King Rantidev, for it was they who had presented themselves as the Brahmana, Sudra, Chandala, and so on. You see the demigods, Brahma and Lord Shiva, and other demigods, they came to test Rantidev. They wanted, not so much test, but they wanted to show the greatness of Maharaj Rantidev. They understood how he was a very magnanimous soul, very kind and merciful. So they wanted to highlight his quality to other people. So they arranged this kind of test, or this little how to say, they arranged for this encounter with Rantidev. He was allowed to show his qualities to before all the demigods. So King Rantidev had no ambition to enjoy material benefits from the demigods. He offered them obeisances, but because he was factually attached to Lord Vishnu, Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he fixed his mind at Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. So other people, if they meet demigods, and of course they will want to get blessings, they want benedictions. They'll be asking for the demigods, oh bless me, give me wealth, give me a nice wife, give me nice children, give me long life, give me good health. They have a big list of things they want to get, and they will approach the demigods for these things. But Rantidev, he was attached to Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. He didn't approach the demigods for anything. So that is the mood of the pure devotee. If you want to become a pure devotee, then you should not want to take any benedictions from the demigods. And this, of course, is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? What does it say? Who knows the verses from the Bhagavad Gita about worshipping demigods? What does it say? Translation?
I don't remember exactly, but because
of this... yeah.
Maharaj, no, I don't remember the word to word, but I can explain the meaning.
Okay, go ahead. So explain the meaning.
Because of there's so many desires, they surrender to or they worship different types of demigods. Something like this, Maharaj.
What's the rest of the verse? Kamaste rita jnana prapajante
anya devata
tamtam niyamastaya.
Tamtam niyamastaya. I don't remember the rest part.
Yeah, we usually only hear the first half, huh? Anyway, yeah, those whose minds are distorted by material desires worship the demigods. for things which are limited and temporary. So because their minds are distorted with material desires, that's why they're worshipping the demigods. So Rantidev did not worship any other gods. He only worshipped the Supreme Lord. Although he was able to see Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, he did not ask them for any kind of material benedictions from them. Rantidev fixed his mind on Lord Vasudev and did devotional service to him. So that's the sign of a pure devotee, that they're very chaste in the worship of the Lord. They don't try to get any material benefit from it. The pure devotee doesn't have any material desires. Prabhupada quotes Rupa Goswami's definition of pure devotional service. Anyabilasita sunyam jnana kadma janavritam anukuyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttamam. We should render service to the Lord favorably and without desire for material gain. And we should be free of fruitive activities and philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. So pure devotional service, we simply worship Krishna. Karma jnana, we're interested in impersonal liberation. And karma yoga, we want to enjoy the material world. We want to enjoy some fruit from our activities. But the pure devotee doesn't have any of these desires. He simply wants to worship Krishna. So Sukadeva Goswami is describing the glories of King Rantidev to Maharaj Parikshit. And he tells Maharaj Parikshit, because Rantidev was a pure devotee, always Krishna conscious, and free from all material desires, the Lord's illusory energy, Maya, could not exhibit herself before him. On the contrary, for him, Maya entirely vanished, exactly like a dream. Yeah, for the pure devotee, there's no Maya. There's no illusion. For the pure devotee, it's all Krishna's service, for the service of Krishna. And Prabhupada quotes Chaitanya Charitamrita, just like in the presence of the sunshine, there's no darkness. So where there is Krishna, there is no Maya. We want to be in Krishna consciousness, then Maya cannot touch us. If we're fully absorbed, engaged in Krishna's service, we don't have to worry about Maya. So the material energy is made up of the three modes. Difficult to overcome. But if we surrender to Krishna, then it's very easy to overcome it. So we have to become Krishna conscious, keep Krishna in the core of our heart. So Prabhupada recommends the the verse from the end of the 9th chapter, the last verse of the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge. Right? What is the most confidential knowledge given in the Bhagavad Gita, Sumati?
.2 Rajavidya, Rajaguru.
No.
Like Bhakti, Bhakti is the confidential knowledge. Which sloka?
The last verse of the 9th chapter. Manmana
Mana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame visheshehi. That I remember that 18.55. Mame vishesh satyam te priti jano priyasime.
Okay. Translation? What are the...
Always man mana bhava madbhakto. Always be my devotee. Always engage your mind in me. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Pay your obeisances unto me. Man mana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame vishesh satyam te. I will definitely protect you from all the dangers or sins. I promise you, don't worry.
What are the 4 things we have to do?
Man mana bhava madbhakto, engage your mind in my thoughts. Be my devotee, pay your obeisances to me and worship me.
Right. Okay. Got them. Okay. And this way we will always be Krishna conscious. And we don't have to worry about Maya. So Rantadev was fully Krishna conscious. He was not affected by the material energy. In the material world, Prabhupada said the mind is absorbed in materialistic activities. But when one is asleep, many contradictory activities appear in our dreams. In the course of our sleep, we can dream so many thoughts. But when we wake up, then these activities are all forgotten about. In the same way, as long as we're under the influence of the material energy, we make plans and schemes. But when we are Krishna conscious, then these plans are just disappear automatically. The mind is always thinking material things, we'll have to do so many things. But when we're Krishna conscious, then we'll just simply think about Krishna's service. Krishna consciousness means to be conscious about Krishna and Krishna's service. And forget about our bodily plans, our bodily needs, all the things we want to do for our own temporary comfort in the material world. What's important is our self-realization, to come to understand our spiritual position in relationship to Krishna. Everything else is not very important. Okay, then next text goes, we're still hearing about Rantidev. All those who followed the principles of King Rantidev were totally favored by his mercy and became pure devotees, attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. Thus they all became the best of yogis. So what were these principles of King Rantidev which were totally favorable and helped people to become pure devotees? Yes? What was Rantidev's principle? Anyone?
Sarvadivya Paramatma Darshan Maharaj. He is saying, in every living entity heart, Supreme Lord is residing.
Yes, that was one thing. He saw the Lord in the heart of everyone.
And whatever he gets by arrangement of God, he distribute among others. He don't keep with him.
Yeah, he didn't endeavor himself to get anything.
He was totally dependent of Lord's mercy, Maharaj.
Yes, right.
Whatever comes by the providence, he accepts it.
Right. He didn't go out beg. Can you think of other people who lived like that? Do you know anybody did like that?
Avadut Brahman.
Yes, right.
Yes, Avadut Brahman, yes, he was dependent by providence.
Yeah, how would they live? What would they do?
He had performed like Adugar Bhakti Maharaj.
Like who?
This Avantika Brahman.
Oh, the Avantika Brahman. Yes.
Even Madhavendra Puri was...
Yes.
Madhavendra Puri, yes. What? Tell me, what was he doing?
Ajgar Vritti only, Maharaj. Like if somebody comes and gives him something, he takes. Otherwise, he will not go and beg or ask somebody anything for any food or something.
Yes, right. How did he manage? Did people come and give him?
Yes, Maharaj.
Must have been in special places, eh? People were so kind-hearted. We wondered how it would be today. Of course, even today there are people like they live in Vrindavan, you know. They can do madhukari. Sometimes people do madhukari. They will beg something, a little food from each house. Some people will just pick up the grains in the fields left by the farmers, or they'll pick up the grains in the marketplace. And we know Sudama Brahmana, he didn't beg also. He didn't go, he never went begging. He didn't like to ask for anything. Somehow he was living. So, not endeavoring for their own maintenance. So Rantideva, he saw the Lord in everyone. He saw everyone equally. He didn't make distinction between the Brahman and the Chandala. He saw everyone that's on the same level because he saw the Lord in the heart of everyone. So is that proper to think like that? Could you apply that today?
Only devotee can understand Maharaj. Those who has this pure knowledge, those who has received this knowledge from his spiritual master, they can see in every living entity's heart, Supreme Lord is residing. Even they do not like to kill even one ant.
They do not like to kill an ant.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, you're right.
If we see some ant, we cross the ant. And devotee, even their children also, they don't try to give pain to other living entity.
Okay, good, yeah. So can we apply that principle in our own Krishna consciousness?
Yes, Maharaj, we are trying. At least I am trying.
Not killing any insects, huh?
Yes, Maharaj.
Do you put food out for the insects? Do you feed the insects in your house? Do you put any grains out for the mice to eat at night?
But Maharaj, honestly I'm telling, sometimes mouse come in room for serving our other thing. We also sometimes put some food inside the case for catching the mouse. After catching that mouse, we put outside. But we're not killing the mouse.
Okay. You catch the mouse in the trap.
Yes, Maharaj.
And then take it away.
Then keep outside.
Okay.
Go long part distance and release him.
Do you let it eat prasadam first? Do you give it?
We also feed cows. We feed cows.
Okay.
We make chapati, feed cows.
Okay. Yes. Seeing the Lord in everyone, not seeing distinction. Of course, we cannot behave equally with it, just like the Lord is in the tiger, but you cannot embrace the tiger. You can embrace the devotee, but you cannot treat the tiger the same way as the devotee. Now the Lord is also in the tiger. So, how can we deal with that?
Maharaj, in that case, we have to be careful. We cannot embrace a tiger. If we go to embrace a tiger, he will take as his fist.
But some devotees, they could do it. There was Rasikananda. He was a disciple of Shamananda Pandit. Rasikananda, he had disciples. He tamed a wild elephant, became his disciple, and then he had also some tigers in the forest. He'd leave some prasadam for them. They'd come and eat the prasadam. So some great souls, like Lord Chaitanya, when he was in Jharkhand, he could get the tigers, make them gentle, and they would dance when he chanted the holy name. So, for great personalities, these kind of things are possible. For the common people like herself, of course, we cannot do these kind of things. But still, we can respect them. We can respect that the Lord is in the heart of everyone.
Maharaj, we can, like me, fallen soul can follow their footsteps, but we cannot imitate them. Like Raghunath Bhatta also, a tiger came and he was drinking behind him, and Lord, he himself came to protect Raghunath Das Goswami at Radhakund. Because they are Lord's associate.
Okay. Okay, Prabhupada's purport says, the best yogis are the devotees. And that's quoted in Bhagavad Gita at the end of the 6th chapter. The best yogi is the one who's always thinking of Krishna within the core of his heart. So because Rantidev was the king, he was the chief in the state, all the residents of the state became devotees. They all became devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the king's transcendental association. This is the influence of a pure devotee. If there is one pure devotee, his association can create hundreds and thousands of pure devotees. So it's a very nice example. Because he was the king, Rantideva was the king, so everyone followed his example. They all became devotees, and they all became pure devotees. So very wonderful. The power of association, so great. So, that was the principle in which Lord Krishna used to transmit the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Evam parampara praptam imam rajasheo vidu sakaliniha mata yoganasta parantam. Lord Krishna anyway arranged to pass the knowledge through the line of saintly kings. And the saintly kings would understand. Why did Lord Krishna select the kings? Because he thought if the kings will accept this knowledge, then all the citizens will follow. They'll follow the example of the kings. So that was the system, why in the Parampara system you have Surya Vamsa and Chandra Vamsa. The knowledge is passed through these lines of kings because it will make it easy for the common people to accept Krishna consciousness. That if the king is a devotee, then all the people will become devotees. So we see Maharaj Parikshit, how he was a devotee, 500 years ago in the times of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Maharaj Prataparudra was a devotee. So there were so many devotees then in Jagannath Puri, the whole of Uktau, there were so many devotees. And then nowadays we see also so many people just went to Kumbh Mela. How many people? They said like 570 million people or something went to Kumbh Mela so far this month. You know, just an incredible number of people going to Kumbh Mela because they all have some faith, they have some interest a little bit. You know, they may not be pure devotees, but some interest is there. it's more than half the population of India. So an incredible number of people all going there. But Prabhupada said they shouldn't just go to only take a bath. They should go in search of knowledge. If they just go to bathe there, then that's not very good, right? That is, we say, Yashadma Buddhi Gunapetrithas Buddhi, so di Kalatradi Shubhoma Ijadi, Yatirtha Buddhi Shalalena Karachit, Janes Fabigneshu Sa Eva Gokaraha. So a person who thinks the body is a bag made up of 3 elements, or if he thinks the land in which he's born in is worshipable, or if he goes to a holy place simply to take a bath, then that person is no better than a foolish animal. The real purpose in going to the holy place, not just to take the bath, but to hear from the saintly people who are there. So this is, Kumbh Mela is an opportunity to give people real knowledge. So it's very nice that so many of our devotees went there. They accepted the inconvenience to go there. Even way back 1971, Srila Prabhupada went there, Kumbh Mela. There was Ardha Kumbh Mela, and it was so cold, and there was no real facilities. The devotees had, the only drinking water was the water from the Ganga, and it was the same water for bathing. The water was used for cooking, for everything. It was all just Ganga water. That was the only water available in those days. There was no bottled water. There was no purified water. So like that, the devotees accepted. And Prabhupada also accepted. Prabhupada stayed there. And Prabhupada even took bath in the cold water in the morning to teach the devotees. So like that, the pure devotee, by his association, he can influence so many other people to also become pure devotees. Right? What is a verse from the scriptures about the association of a pure devotee? Who knows a good verse?
Sadhusanga sarva sastra kaya labbe matra sadhusanga sarva siddhi haya.
Okay.
Another verse, Kapil Dev said to Devoti, Khanardana pitule na sargam napurna bhavam bhagavad sangi sangasya martanan kimutasisha.
Translation?
The first one is by the association of a pure devotee, even for one love is very fractional time of a second, he becomes successful, he achieves perfection in his life. And if one associates with a pure devotee, even for half a moment, then what is the necessity of living in Kanadagna Avatulle Nasurgam, heavenly planets, Napurna Bhavam, in Vaikuntha, that is the highest perfection of life.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. What is the highest perfection of life?
Association with the devotee. That can be compared with living in either Vaikuntha or heavenly planets.
It cannot be compared.
Cannot be compared, yes.
Okay. That's from the first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam.
Kapil Dev is speaking to Mother Devahuti.
I don't think that verse is Kapil Dev speaking to Devahuti. I don't think that verse is from, is it?
25.21, I think third canto, 3 point.
And anyway, there's a similar verse which comes in the first canto. There's a similar verse in the first canto also which says like that, the association of devotees. Tulayana lavenapi naswargam na punerbhavam.
Yes, Maharaj.
It's not the third. It's not third canto. I don't think, is it? Anyway, you check.
Yes, Maharaj. I am sorry. That is fourth canto, 24 chapter, 57 verse. Khanardana apitulloye nasargang napunnamavo bhagavat sangi sangasya mattana kimutasisha. Sir.
Fourth.
If one by chance, yes, Maharaj, fourth canto, that is 24 chapter, 57 verse.
Okay.
If one by chance associates with a devotee, even for a fraction of a moment, he no longer is subject to attraction by the results of karma or jnana. What interest then can we have in the benedictions of the demigods who are subject to laws of birth and death?
Okay. Anybody else has another verse about association? Okay.
Pattam prasanga mama virya samvedo. 3:25-25.
Well, that is speaking about the glories of hearing, in the association of devotees. Topics of Lord Krishna, heard in the association of pure devotees, is very pleasing to the ear and to the heart. All right.
Maharaj, when we wake up early in the morning, by taking bath, we clean our body, we become pure. By contact with pure water, crystal clear water. Similarly, when one comes to contact with pure devotees of the Lord, by association with that pure devotee, he also become a pure. This is the power of pure devotees association. Pure devotee can make pure to another living entity by giving his association to that living entity.
Okay. All right.
Maharaj, another verse is also recited by, I think, Narottam Das Thakur. He says that Gangar parasahile paschat pavan darshan pavitra kar eitumar gun means one achieves purification after taking bath in the Ganges. But if someone takes the darshan of a pure devotee, instantaneously all his sins dissipate.
Right.
Vanquishes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, the water of the Ganges purifies after a long time, but simply seeing a devotee can purify us. Okay, so Srila Bhakti Vedanta Thakur, he has said a Vaishnava is meritorious in proportion to the number of devotees he has created. A Vaishnava becomes superior not simply by jugglery of words, but by the number of devotees he has created for the Lord. So Ranti Dev, he had made many devotees, his friends, his officers, his relatives, his subjects, they all became first-class Vaishnavas by his association. So Ranti Dev is understood to be a first-class devotee or a Mahabhagavat. He didn't just simply fast, but he made many other people devotees. Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimuktes. By serving the Mahatmas, then it opens the doors to liberation. So we can't, Prabhupada then quotes Narottam Das Thakur, he said you cannot be liberated by our own efforts, but if we become the servant of a pure Vaishnava, then the door to liberation is opened. So this is the secret to advancing in Krishna consciousness, to become the servant of a devotee. All right, so Ranti Dev's story is finished. We're going on. We hear about more kings and their children.
Raj,
Yes?
just a question or two, if it's possible, before we
Yes, please.
go ahead. Raj, regarding Rantidev, it's interesting. As a king, he was very poor. Now, if you look at the job description of a king, they're meant to be rich, they're meant to be in opulence, and they're meant to have sufficient grains, they're meant to have sufficient treasury, so in that way they can take care of the citizens. And in this way then citizens are materially comfortable, and therefore then they can take up to spiritual life. So Rantidev seems like he didn't really follow his job description as a king.
Well, we have to understand that the kings generally, they get their wealth, they take it from the citizens. They take taxes from all the citizens in their kingdom. All the different citizens in their kingdom are obliged to pay taxes to the king. So the king's treasury, it actually comes from the citizens. He collects the taxes from them all. And in this way the king maintains himself. So Rantideva was poor because he never wanted to bother people. He never wanted to ask them for any taxes. He just maintained himself just by the will of providence. If somebody gave him something, then he had something. If nobody gave it, he had nothing. So this was his magnanimous nature. How did he get like that? We're not told. Maybe his forefathers or people, the other people in his line, somehow he developed this mood that he didn't like to bother people to ask them for anything. So he had that nature. So yeah, usually kings are rich. Not all kings are rich, but of course some kings are very rich, and usually they get the wealth. Either they attack other kingdoms and they'll rob the other king, take the king's treasure and bring it to their kingdom, or they'll take it from the citizens in the form of taxes. But Rantidev didn't collect money from people. He didn't bother people. He was so surrendered. He thought, if Krishna wants me to have it, Krishna will arrange it. Krishna will give me. So he didn't worry about anything himself. This was his magnanimous nature.
Maharaj, when it comes to doing our duty, how do we decide, or in whichever varna ashrama we're in? Like one can say, okay, look, I'm not going to really endeavor, and I'm just going to, keep things simple and just chant Hare Krishna. And some devotees actually kind of gone like that, and then other devotees criticize him that, like, what is this devotee up to? He's meant to be, he has a service, he has a responsibility, he's not taking care of his family. So how does one decide that in terms of our execution?
Well, yes, we have to consider what is the realization of every individual. Just like Rantidev, he's not taking care of his family, but at the same time he's taking care of others because he sees everyone in relation to the family. He doesn't think only my children, he thinks everyone. We're all brothers and sisters and we're all one family under the Supreme Lord. So when he provides food for someone, he thinks that, they're my brother, they're my sister, they're our family. We're all children under the Supreme Lord. not just only my children, not just children born by my semen, by my sex life, but, you know, we see all living entities, all being one part of one family, the family of the Supreme Lord. So it's not neglect or laziness on his part, but it's a realization to see everyone in that way. Now, some people, of course, they may just simply be outright lazy, and they don't have that realization, but they're just lazy, they just don't want to work. And they just think other people should give me. They have that attitude, they just want to take from others. And they don't contribute anything to the society. They simply take whatever they get, they use it for themselves. So that is not good. But if the mood is, you know, people give charity, then you use it for the benefit of the world, to do something for the society. You don't just simply use it for your own sense gratification. So we don't want to condemn someone who's actually very elevated and very advanced in their realization, when they actually see everyone in an equal manner. And that's why even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they came in disguise just to test Rantidev, to show his true nature, to show his glory, to highlight his wonderful qualities of actually seeing everybody equally. Even though he and his own family were almost on the point of death. Yeah, it's remarkable. It's just amazing that people could be so sense-controlled and so charitable. And we see, for example, in the modern day, you have saints like Mother Teresa, you know, people really glorify her, how she sacrifices for the to help other underprivileged people. And you know, she started, and her work inspired many other people to come and help her, and to follow her, and to do similar things, just as she was doing. Helping needy people, giving them shelter, giving them food. That kind of mood, you know. So, but that mood, it's nothing compared to the mood of Vasudeva Datta. Lord Jesus Christ was very magnanimous. He died for the sins of people. He died for the sins of some people. But Vasudeva Datta wants to die for all living. He wants to suffer for all living entities, not just for a few people, not just for the people who believe in him, but for all living entities. Vasudeva Datta is willing to stay and suffer. So Prabhupada said Vasudeva Datta was much more magnanimous than Lord Jesus Christ. So here you have Rantidev, he's also a very magnanimous soul. And he wants to give everything for others. And he made many devotees. He brought people to Krishna consciousness by his actions, by his behavior. He inspired people to follow him. Okay?
John, now we also hear of Rantidev's family, and we're not quite sure his children or wife, how they were taking this, as Rantidev was engaged in giving foodstuffs and water to the different personalities. It's very rare to find everyone in the family to be on the same level. So are we to also assume that the wife and the children, they were on the same level as Rantidev, like Because we don't hear of them, and if they were not on the same level, like how did he manage? And then can we be forceful to our children? It's like, no, you do, because you're under me, you do as I'm doing, and if I'm going to give to this brahmana and you starve. I'm going to give this to the Sudra, and you don't have any water. So it's, we're not hearing much of the family, and I'm just wondering, how it was, or what are your thoughts on that, Marge?
Well, yes, it certainly comes to mind when we read the story that, my goodness, how did the family manage? How would the family take it? But somehow the family are also inspired to follow the father, or to follow Rantideva as the head of the family, that that they accept that this is the mood. He's the king, he's the ruler, and they're following his example. It's certainly very difficult to understand when they say fasting for 48 days, my goodness, how do they manage it, Without food and water as well, you die. Anyway, these kind of things are being described here. We want to understand them. Very great souls, certainly. Rantidev was a very, very great personality. And that's why he's here in the scriptures, is being described. His glories are so great. I'm not sure how long ago it was.
Maharaj, regarding these 48 days, really, people will start to develop problems in the body if they don't drink water for 3 or 4 days. So also kind of like thinking which age was this in, and maybe had a specific type of body or something. And then one cannot really go without food more than 60 days. So water definitely, after 5 days, one start to develop issues with the body.
Yeah.
Organ failure and different things like that.
Oh yeah. Usually, of course, unless you're a very liberated soul, if you're a totally liberated soul, you can transcend the material body. The body's not material. So people like, Raghunath Das, Goswami, they could go without things. They could do these kind of things. Of course, we cannot imitate. But anyway, these things are being told to us. Certainly, Rantideva was a very great soul. He sacrificed for the service of the Lord.
Maharaj, he's speaking about suffering of people. He's not speaking about delivering people and being, getting them to be Krishna conscious. Whereas when it comes to Vasudeva Datta, it's more about deliverance. So just also kind of thinking about where Prabhupada is quite, strong about, just giving charity for the sake of being charitable, food, and clothing and so on and so forth. So, just also wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, it certainly talks about suffering soul. Everybody's suffering in material world. Everyone's suffering without Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada, he always makes the point that, we're hearing Vasudeva Datta, he only wanted to accept the Supreme Lord. He wouldn't accept had no thought to get any material benediction from the demigods. He just wants to serve the Supreme Lord. He's completely chaste to the Supreme Lord. And he sees the Supreme Lord in everyone's heart. So he talks about people suffering. It's not just something that he's only concerned for. He sees everyone in the material world suffering because they have no Krishna consciousness. So he's concerned to deliver them by bringing them to Krishna consciousness. So I don't think there's really any difference between Vasudev Datta and Rantideva. Prabhupada didn't see any distinction. Rather, he compared the two. He sees them as parallels in some ways, concerned to deliver the fallen souls. Yeah, without Krishna consciousness, they're fallen souls. They're suffering in the material world. And if we can somehow bring them to Krishna consciousness, then that is real liberation. That's saving them from the material world.
Thank you, Maharaj. And one final thing, Maharaj. Here, just wondering of the level of Rantidev. Was he already on bhava or prema, and then he has a darshan of the demigods and the Supreme Lord, where he's getting tested? So he's already quite advanced, or because of these activities and pushing himself to starve and serving others, putting others in before him, then he becomes at the point of prema. So just trying to understand that.
Well, I don't know where the prema is coming from. Usually, the prema he's going to have to get that from someone. I don't know who was giving him prema, but certainly coming to the platform of pure devotion, then that is there. That he has that mood, the compassion, the care for others, seeing the Lord in everyone's heart. Just to come to that level, that is already very advanced. I don't know that there's actually prema there. That's a long way up from, there's no mention like that. And it's talking about the Supreme Lord. He's a devotee of Narayan. He's not actually Krishna conscious. He's a devotee of Narayan. So I don't know where you got the prema from. I don't see that at all.
No, just the level of compassion that he has, and then he has the darshan of all these great personalities. At what stage does one feel such compassion? Because usually when there has to be some kind of taste for someone to do something like this. Otherwise, what's the drive? What's the purpose?
Well, the purpose is simply pleasing the Lord, because he sees the Lord in everyone's heart, and he cares for them like his own family. So that is the purpose. That feeling of brotherhood, Paramatma Nishta, that vision of seeing the Lord in everyone's heart. So naturally he would want to help them. Just that mood of doing service for other souls who are all parts and parcels of the Lord. Then that mood, that's so important. That is Sankirtan, that mood of giving mercy, doing something to help the conditioned souls, to try to bring them out of their suffering condition. We should have that compassion. This is the meaning of the mercy of a devotee. The mercy of a devotee is to bring people to Krishna consciousness. Now what level of Krishna, doesn't mean they have to come to prema bhakti, but at least they can come out of the bodily concept of life, come to the higher platform. Huh? Is it all right, Prabhu?
Thank you. Thank you much.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead then. We've got different kings and sons, and we're told these sons took birth in a dynasty of Kshatriyas, but they attained the position of Brahmanas. And then there was one person, Brahadshatra, had a son named Hashti, who established the city of Hastinapur, now New Delhi. So he established the city of Hastinapur. From King Hasti came 3 sons, and then the descendants of Ajamita, headed by Priyameda, all achieved the position of Brahmanas. So, again you see Kshatriyas becoming Brahmanas. And they become Brahmanas on the basis of their qualities, not by their birth. They were all Kshatriyas by birth, but they became Brahmanas. This was certainly because of their qualities and activities. Similarly, sometimes the sons of Brahmanas or Kshatriyas become Vaishyas. When a Kshatriya or Brahmana adopts the occupation or duties of a Vaishya, he is certainly counted as a Vaishya. On the other hand, if one is born a Vaishya, by his activities he can become a Brahmana. This is confirmed by Narada Muni. Yasya yau lakshanam proktam. 7th canto, right? That's the key verse. That if one has the qualities of a particular order, then he should be known as belonging to that order. The members of the Varnas or social orders, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra, must be ascertained by their symptoms, not by birth. Birth is immaterial, quality is essential. And then Ajamida had a son named Brihadishu. From Brihadishu came a son Brihadana. From Brihadana came a son named Brihadkaya. And Brihadkaya a son named Jayadrata. The son of Jayadrata was Rishada, and his son was Senajit. The sons of Senajit were Ruchirashva, Dridadana, Kashya and Vatsa. The sons of Ruchirashva was Para, and the sons of Para were Pratusena and Nipa. Nipa had 100 sons. King Nipa begot a son named Brahmadatta through the womb of his wife Kritva, who was the daughter of Shuka. And Brahmadatta, who was a great yogi, begot a son named Vishwakshena through the womb of his wife Saraswati. So we have a purport here. Prabhupada says, the Shuka mentioned here is different from the Shukadev Goswami who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, is described in great detail in Brahmavaivar Purana. There it is said that Vyasadeva maintained the daughter of Jabali as his wife, and that after they performed penances together for many years, he placed his seed in her womb. The child remained in the womb of his mother for 12 years. And when the father asked the son to come out, the son replied that he would not come out unless he was completely liberated from the influence of Maya. Vyasadeva then assured the child that he would not be influenced by Maya, but the child did not believe his father, for the father was still attached to his wife and children. Vyasadeva then went to Dwarka and informed the personality of Godhead about his problem. And the personality of Godhead, at Vyasadeva's request, went to Vyasadeva's cottage, where he assured the child in the womb that he would not be influenced by Maya. Thus assured, the child came out, but he immediately went away as a paribrajakacharya. When the father, very much aggrieved, began to follow his saintly boy, Sukadeva Goswami, the boy, created a duplicate Sukadeva, who later entered family life. Therefore, the Shuka Kanya, or daughter of Shukadev, mentioned in this verse, is the daughter of the duplicate or imitation Sukadev. The original Sukadev was a lifelong brahmacharya. So Sukadeva Goswami, so powerful, he could create a duplicate Sukadev. How do you do that? How, to create a duplicate person. Anyway, this is an interesting pastime which is told in relation to Srila Vyasadeva and how he got Sukadeva Goswami as his son, and then the difficulties which came with Sukadeva Goswami being his son. So that Sukadeva Goswami was in the womb of his mother for 12 years. And then Lord Krishna is told about it. And then Krishna comes to Vyasadeva's cottage and he tells the child in the womb to come out, that Maya won't touch you. So the child came out, but he immediately left home.
Maharaj, this story is quite paradoxal to the story of Sukadeva Goswami, who was born from the association of Parashar with Satyavati. And Vyasadeva, that episode is exactly like this one. He said Vyasadeva not to take bath so long as he is protected from the influence of material nature, the three modes of material nature. That he stayed there for 18 years. Then Vyasadeva promised, and Sukadeva Goswami took his bath. That Sukadeva is quite different from this Sukadeva. Can you please illuminate them?
I don't know. I didn't know that they're different. I thought they were the same. But the Prabhupada says the Sukadeva mentioned here is different from the Sukadeva Goswami who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. Alright? The Sukha mentioned here, that's the Sukha mentioned in the verse. Because it's mentioned in the verse that the daughter of Shuka, the daughter of Shuka. So Prabhupada is making the point that Shukadeva Goswami was a brahmachari, he never married. But there was one imitation Shuka. So this imitation Shuka is the one who married and had a daughter. But Prabhupada is telling the story from Brahma Vaivarta Purana, that Shukadeva Goswami was in the womb for 12 years, and then he came out, but immediately left home. And the father was chasing after him. Of course, it's described like that in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Shukadeva, here we're told that Shukadeva Goswami created a duplicate, and that duplicate Shukadeva Goswami entered family life. And he had a Shuka Kanya, the daughter of Shukadev, the daughter of the illusory Shukadev. He's not the real Shukadev, but another Shukadev. But the original.
Maharaj, it is specifically mentioned here that Vasudev maintained the daughter of Javaliaji's wife, and that after they performed penances together for many years, he placed his seed in her womb, so the child was born from Vasudev through his wife. So this is duplicate Sukadev, but is the son of Sukadev Goswami is also the son of Vasudev, and this Sukadev is also the son of Vasudev. What is the understanding in the expression that it is duplicate?
Well, we're told that when Krishna came to Vyasadeva, or Krishna came to tell Shukadev Goswami to come out of the womb, that he came out, but because Srila Vyasadeva was chasing him, so the boy created the duplicate Sukadev. But the original Shukadev didn't come back. He didn't come home again. And it was the original Shukadev who spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam. But the illusory Shukadev, the one who stayed back and who got married and who had a daughter, that is the illusory Shukadev. But the real Shukadev, he was the one who came and he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam.
So Maharaj, birth of this Sukadev is after the original Sukadev was born.
After what?
After original Sukadev was born.
Yes. The
This
original Sukadev was the one who created the illusory, he created the other Sukadev. It says here, Sukadev, it said the boy created a duplicate Sukadev. Because Vyasadeva was so much worried to get his son back, so Shukadeva Goswami created a duplicate Shukadev, who came back with the father and became a householder and had a daughter. So he was a duplicate Sukadev. And he's mentioned in this verse. The duplicate Shukadev is the one mentioned.
So Maharaj, these two incidents simultaneously took place during the course of birth of original Sukadev.
Yeah? Yeah, after the birth of Sukadev. Yes. That's how we're told. This is from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Gaurav Dayanand Prabhu has a question, Maharaj.
Yes?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, for princess. So, as far as I recall the story, correct me if I'm wrong, when Shukadeva Goswami born, he went out, right? So, he went away. So, Vyasadeva sent two brahmanas singing the glories of Krishna and singing one particular verse of how Krishna is so merciful that he gave liberation even to Bhutana, who was she was a witch, a really bad person, but Krishna was so merciful that he gave the position of a nurse in the spiritual world. So these brahmanas was chanting these verses. So in this moment, Shukadeva Goswami divided himself. So the illusory or one Shukadeva Goswami returned to learn the Vedas from Vyasadeva. And the other Shukadeva Goswami went away. So this original Shukadeva Goswami that went away to the forest and not coming back with his father is the original one who spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes.
And the others, father and learned the Srimad Bhagavatam with his father, married and had children and so on. This is the story, right, Maharaj?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the way it's told here. In different places you get seem to be told differently. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, so then more kings are mentioned and their families, their descendants, their sons. We're told here, text number 29, from Suparshva came a son named Sumati. From Sumati came Sanatiman, and from Sanatiman came Kriti, who achieved mystic power from Brahma, and taught 6 Samhitas of the Pratyasama verses of the Samaveda. The son, and then more. So, anyway, someone got mystic power from Brahma and taught 6 Samhitas from the Samaveda. And then text 34, we hear about Ahavya. And she became the wife of Gautama. And they had a son named Shatananda. Then, text 35, we're told about Saradvan met Urvasi. So we heard about Urvasi and her 2 lambs, right? She was with Maharaj Yayati earlier. So here, Saradvan met Urvasi, and just meeting her, he discharged semen, which fell on a clump of shara grass. From this semen were born 2 all auspicious babies, one male and the other female. And then we're told, while Maharaj Santanu, while on a hunting excursion, he saw the male and female children lying in the forest, and out of compassion he took them home. Consequently, the male child was known as Kripa, and the female child was named Kripi. Kripi later became the wife of Dronacharya. So Maharaj Santanu was compassionate. He saw these 2 children laying in the forest and he took them home. So sometimes a great sage finds children in the forest. Sometimes it's a king. So this is the chapter. Not a lot of information in the chapter. A lot of kings are mentioned. Any questions? Anyone? Para Paramakarana Prabhu?
Kripa and Kripi were born of Shadavan. Now, Shadavan is a Brahmana?
We're not told. Usually these are Kshatriya kings. The son of Shatananda was Satyadriti, who was expert in archery. And the son of Satyadriti was Saradvan. And then Saradvan met Urvasi. And anyway, of course, the Kripa becomes Kripacharya. Kripa becomes Kripacharya. And he, somehow, and Kripi, she must be like a Brahmana because she could become the wife of Dronacharya. Dronacharya, he's a Brahmana, and certainly he'd want to marry a Brahmana girl. So somehow they got the position of Brahmanas, although Maharaj Santanu was the one who found them. I don't know how they managed, maybe, but as we say, the birth is not important. What's important was the qualities. We must have displayed the qualities of Brahmanas, and that's how they got that position as Brahmanas. Now, how did they get what? Simply, the man Saradvan discharged semen, and the semen fell on some grass, and from the two children are born, but all auspicious babies, one male and the other female. Of course, it's certainly difficult to understand without appearing in the womb of the mother. Somehow these two children develop, just contacting some grass, just growing from grass. Difficult to conceive in our modern times, but somehow in the past these things happened. We know Dhritarashtra's wife Gandhari, she had, when she heard that Kunti had already given birth, she was so angry, she beat her embryo, and the embryo, that lump, she gave birth to a lump, and then Vyasadeva took that lump and divided it into 100 pieces, and the result was 100 souls entered, and she ended up with 100 sons. So that was Gandhari. That's how she got 100 sons. Here, two brother and sister, Kripa and Kripi. And Kripi is going to be the wife of Dronacharya. Dronacharya, of course, very poor. But anyway, they have a son, Ashwatthama, becomes their son. And then Ashwatthama has his problems. But Kripi is respected by Draupadi, and because she's the wife of the Guru, and Ashwatthama is the son of the Guru, so Draupadi didn't want Ashwatthama killed. And she didn't want Kripi mourning as she was mourning. So she had some compassion for Kripi.
And Maharaj, just going back to this daughter of Sukadev, so there was an imitation, Sukadev, and from him came Kritvi. So if we go by this line of Sukadev, then he's born from Vyas. Vyas is born from Prashara Muni. So that's the line of sages. So then Kritvi marries Nipa. So this is a Pratiloma marriage rather than Anuloma marriage.
Is it?
Taking Nipa as a king, because I think he's mentioned as a king.
Which verse is it now?
Sorry, 1 second, I'll just open it up. I think it's 25.
Oh yeah.
King Nipa.
Okay, here's 25, 26, let's see. Following Nipa begot a son named Brahmada through the womb of his wife Kripi, who was the daughter of Shuka. Oh, his wife Kripi was the daughter of Shuka. So the daughter of the imitation Shuka became the wife of Kripi, and King Nipa begot a son through the womb of his wife Kripi. Yes, right. So, yes, we could say like that. It was a pretty lama. No mention, it's not mentioned anywhere. No comment by the acharyas, they don't mention anything about it. Is there anything in the commentaries by other people? Vishwanath Chakravarti, you can look in his commentary, anything, does he say anything about it?
No, I didn't speak Maharaj on Kriti's marriage.
Chapter 21, right?
Yep.
Let's see. Text 20, what?
25 March.
Yeah. Oh, here in the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, it says Shuka, the speaker of Bhagavatam, was the first son of Vyas, different from the Shuka born from the womb of Aradi. Brahma-Vaivarta Purana describes how Vyas wrote Mahabharata at the beginning of Kali Yuga. Then it describes Sukadev as follows. On the order of his mother, unable to tolerate the obligation to his ancestors, just as an elephant cannot tolerate a post to which he is tied. Vyas gave up his celibacy and took the daughter of Valadi as his wife. He performed austerities with her in a hermitage, and after a long time he impregnated her. She was pregnant for 11 years and did not give birth. In the 12th year, Vyas said to the child in the womb, "O child, why are you causing such pain to your mother? Please come out of the womb." The child in the womb said, "If I come out of the womb, Maya will attack me, therefore I will remain here meditating on the Lord." Vyas said, "You will not be overcome by Maya, I will guarantee that. Come out of the womb, show your face to me, do not give pain to my wife." The child said, "But I know that Maya has overcome you, since you are attached to your wife and child. I do not believe your words." Vyas said, "Then whose words will you trust?" The child said, "I will trust the person who controls Maya." Vyas said, "Then I will bring him here." Vyas then went to Dwarka and explained everything to Lord Krishna. He brought Lord Krishna to his hermitage and said, "O son, the Lord has come." The child said to the Lord, "Please speak, O Madhava. Maya is like chains on the universe. If your Maya, which cannot be surpassed by anyone, will not bind me, I will leave the womb and come out. You are the guarantee, now standing outside the womb." The Lord said, "You will not be affected by my Maya. By my mercy you will be liberated." Shuka came out of the womb, offered respects to the Lord, and praised him. Seeing him, the Lord said, "O Vyas, your son speaks attractively, like a parrot. Let his name be Shuka." Taking permission from Vyas, Krishna mounted his chariot and returned to Dwarka. Then Shuka left the house and Vyas pursued him. Sridhar Swami, however, explains that Shuka, born of Arati, seeing his father pursue him in pain of separation, produced a duplicate Shuka and then left. The duplicate Shuka then got married and had children. I don't know, it seems strange, there's something wrong. Sridhar Swami explains that Shuka, born of Arati, seeing his father pursue him, produced a duplicate Shuka. The duplicate Shuka. But what happened to the other Shuka who was born of Vyas?
So it appears that it's three Shukas, or?
Yeah, it seems like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
Because the original Sukha returned to forest and did not return. So Vasudeva pursued him, and out of frustration, this Sukha was created, was born by his illusory energy. As per the understanding here, but still it is in confusion.
Another question I have on this, that if he saw Lord Krishna, how come he was only considered to be an Atma Rama? He only became a devotee after hearing the verses of the Bhagavatam. So, yeah, how come he was just considered to be an Atma Rama when he met the Supreme Lord?
Well, sometimes it said the Lord came, while he was within the womb, he heard Atma Rama sloka, wasn't it? Hearing everything in the womb, he understood it safe to come out. Oh, it said Shuka of great fame, born in the family of Parashara, appeared from Vyas through Aradi. So he appeared from Vyas through Aradi.
So the original Shuka Maharaj was born from Arani.
Yes, that's what it seems to say. Shuka, the speaker of Bhagavatam, was the first son of Vyas. Shuka, the speaker of Bhagavatam, was the first son of Vyas, different from the Shuka born from the womb of Aradi. So different from the womb. Brahma Vaivarta describes how Vyas wrote Mahabharata, and then it describes Shukadev as follows.
But Maharaj Siddhar Swami explains that Shuka, born of Arani, seeing his father pursue him in pain of separation, produced a duplicate Shuka and then left. So the original Shuka is born from Arani. Okay.
Shuka, the speaker of Bhagavatam, was the first son of Vyas, different from the Shuka born from the womb of Arani. Yeah, according to this, it seems like there's 3 Shukas. I don't know. Very confusing, isn't it? Okay. We'll try to get some more help on this.
So Maharaj here, Brahma Bhavarta Purana, it is mentioned that Vasudev maintained the daughter of Jabali. Who is Jabali?
Oh yeah, Jabali. Yeah, he's mentioned. Jabali.
And what was his first wife's name? Jabali's daughter's name. Kindly could you tell us, please?
Who?
Jabali's daughter's name, Vasudev wife, Shuka's mother. What is her name? Srimad Bhagavatam speaker.
Huh?
Shukdev Goswami speaks Srimad Bhagavatam as the first son, and his mother name Jabali. But Jabali's daughter was the wife. What is her name? Shukdev's mother name, first wife name.
Oh, I'll have to look at it again. I'll have to open that file.
Jabali's name is Bittika. It is mentioned here by Srila. Vishwanath Chakravarti mentioned here. She was Bittika. Vyasa gave up his syllabus and took the daughter of Jabali named Bittika as his wife.
Yeah, okay.
What name, Prabhu? Bittika.
Bittika. It is written in Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Okay,
Path's
Bittika.
commentary.
Yes. Okay, Prabhu.
Bittika is his wife.
Nipa begot a son in his wife Katva, the daughter of Shuka. This Shuka is different from the narrator of the Bhagavatam. He was born from Vyas through Aradi. This is described in Harivamsha. So this is described in Harivamsha. So it seems like he was born from Vyasa. He's talking about this Shuka, who is different from the narrator of the Bhagavatam. So the daughter of Aradi, he was born from Vyasa through Aradi. So he's the daughter of Vyasa and the son. He was born. So this Ashoka was born from Vyasa and Aradi, and he was also called Shuka. But he's not the Shuka who spoke the Bhagavatam. Anyway, his daughter, the daughter of Shuka, she gets married to Nipa, and the daughter is called Katve. Katve.
So Maharaj, we got reference from two books. Number one is Harivamsa, you said, and Govinda Prabhu said that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vitti.
Yeah. So if you have Harivamsa, you can check. And sometimes you get different accounts in different scriptures, you see.
There is also Brahma Vaivarta Puran. Brahma Vaivarta Puran. There are 3 references. Brahma Vaivarta Harivamsa.
Yes. Okay, any other questions? Anyone?
So Maharaj, apparently Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur say that there's one Shuka de Goswami, who Sridhar Swami say that one Shuka came as a duplicate, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says retold another story, right, about Shuka.
Yes.
Yes.
Seems
So
like
perhaps it's not like there's 3 Shukas. It's a different opinion of the Acharyas. It could be 2 Shuka, but the Acharyas have this different opinion about the beginning, right?
well, I don't know. We have to see. We have to You know, just reading Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, it appears like there's three, I don't know. But anyway, he said the original sukha spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then the one born of Aradi, then he's like the duplicate shuka.
So also it could be a different opinion because it could be different kalpas or different.
Well, certainly different accounts. There's certainly different accounts being given. The account which Prabhupada gives is a bit different from what's here with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. What do they? What does Echo Village their commentary on this section say? Do they comment on it? Their notes on the Bhagavatam. You've got those books by Ganga Darshan, is it? Do you?
Well, there isn't anything written in there on this topic. In Canto 1, originally Gauranga Darshan Prabhu mentioned that there's two Sukadeva Goswamis. One is the one that we're talking about, the one that leaves home immediately to go, and then, he follows after him and then teaches him the Bhagavatam. Then there's one, a duplicate one was created who entered into Grahastha life. That's what he wrote in Canto 1. When we were learning about the history of the Bhagavatam and, about Vyasadeva and Sukadeva Goswami. But in this chapter, Canto 9, there's nothing mentioned about Vyasadeva, Sukadeva Goswami.
Oh, okay. He mentioned though in Canto 1, huh?
Yeah, in Canto 1 he mentions it.
You just said that it says there's two Sukadevs, and one becomes a Grihastha. Okay. All right. So we don't have anything else on it. I'll check with Vidvan Gauranga Prabhu. He's a scholarly devotee. He may know something. He may be able to offer something to us in this matter. I'll try to find out what he has to say on it. Okay, so we'll stop here tonight. All right. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakti Vedanta.
Yes.